Hello everybody, Julia here from Just One More Card, and today I have another fun project featuring new stamps by Purple Onion Designs. And I am going to start today by creating the scene for my card. I used this die by Pretty Pink Posh, the Stitch Duo 1 die, and I used the innermost die, this one here, to create these windows. They are going to be windows in my card design. Then I put this stencil by My Favorite Things on top of my panel, and I'm using distressing. I'm going to list the color in the video description below or in my blog, I forgot which one it is, to create the look of bricks around it. So you have the magic when you finally peel off the stencil or remove the stencil. It always amazes me, you know, how you can create these looks with such simple supplies. I mean, this is really just some plastic, and look at what you can create. So it's basically supposed to look like the wall, and inside of the wall there's a window, obviously. So that's what I was going for. Yay! Sometimes I'm really happy about how stuff works out, you know. Doesn't always, but sometimes it really does, and then I'm all giddy with joy. Then I grabbed these border dies by Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm using some leftover paper. You know, I always store leftover paper everywhere because you never know when you'll need it. And I'm going to die cut just parts of it, so then I can put it behind this window, and it's going to look like, oh gosh, I forgot what the English word for this is. But you see what I'm doing here, right? Right? Hopefully you do. I actually considered coloring these, but then I decided against it. In hindsight, I should have probably, but you know, I didn't. Anyhow, moving on. I used some double-sided adhesive tape here. Just putting it down on my card base behind the window. So it's behind the window. That's why I used the panel there while I adhered it to make sure it's going to be in place. Then I'm going to rub it really, really hard to make sure that all the adhesive is sticking really well to the card base. And then I'm peeling off the backer sheet. That means that now the entire adhesive is exposed and very, very sticky. There we go. And I'm going to put some glitter on this sticky. There you can see where it reflects. Now I have these sheets here, and you can download them from my blog. I have a download button in the sidebar, and these are color samples of all the Nuvo products or the tonic products that I got sent. So there's also a ton of glitter, like the Pure Sheen glitter, which I'm going to be using today. And that Pure Sheen glitter comes in this rather nice plastic bottle. It's not glass, so don't be afraid. It's just a plastic bottle. And I can just pour this onto the sticky side here of the double-sided adhesive, and it will stick to it. Of course, some of it will come off, but that's not a problem. This glitter is a little bit more coarse than the glitter I usually work with, but it's not super coarse. So I'm just rubbing it gently to make sure I get the excess off, but I'm not rubbing it super hard. And then I'm going to use a soft makeup brush to remove all the excess. And then I have this really nice shimmery surface. There you can see it. It's really nice. I really like this warm golden color because it's going to look like as if you're looking into somebody's room around Christmas time and there's a warm golden glow, you know, maybe from a fire going on in the fireplace. So that's the scene that I created. Now I'm going to stamp some of these cute critters from the new Purple Onions design release on some Copic friendly paper. You can see I store them in my storage sleeves there. And I'm using My Favorite Things Licorice Hybrid ink because that works perfectly with Copics and with watercolor and with color pencils. It's my favorite black ink to use when I use techniques, because I just need one ink for all the techniques. And then I'm going to use my Copics to color these critters in. Now, I'm going to show you the entire process, just sped up, because otherwise it's going to take forever. But I'm going to play some music for you, because this is my regular coloring process, going from dark to light. But I wanted to show you the process because I feel sometimes it can be helpful to see how something develops, you know, how adding different layers of colors changes the image. So here's the process for you, and I'll catch you again on the flip side when I put the card together. hi, you're still here. Well, thank you for sticking with me here. So I'm going to put this together now by applying some foam tape onto the card base where I already have that glitter. And I already glued the the background to the window there onto my panel, and now I'm adhering the panel to my card base. So I also stamped the sentiment in the meantime, but stamping the sentiment, I trust that you know how to do that. So I didn't show you. Just trying not to touch the sentiment because it's pigment ink and I didn't want to smear it accidentally. Happens to me so often. And then I'm using liberal amounts of foam tape to adhere my little critters there onto the scene. And now it looks like you have a group of carolers singing Christmas carols in front of somebody's house. So that was the intent behind my card. I hope you got inspired. I hope that you enjoyed the Copic coloring. And I hope you look at your dies in different ways to see how else you can use them, maybe to create scenes that you didn't think of before. And here's a picture of the entire card. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this project. It gave you some inspiration. And if you liked it, I'm always looking forward to a thumbs up or maybe to a nice comment. I read all your comments, I promise. And if you want some more inspiration, here are more Christmas projects for you to check out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye bye.